Hello, welcome to this video. Thank you so much for tuning in and sharing in this now moment with myself and with one another. If you haven't seen these videos before, welcome back if you have. My intention is unity and oneness and the highest levels of love light. I just wanted to go into a little bit of a car flow. I haven't done one in a while, and I had a few minutes, so I thought I would just kind of tune in to see what is coming through. I get a lot of activations and downloads when I drive and go into meditation and throughout the day, and one of the messages that's been coming through a lot is paying attention to those synchronicities, paying attention to those things that are coming up in our lives that if we weren't open to them, we might just miss them entirely. And so I kind of had this pull to just sit down and have a little bit of quiet time and just kind of let myself open to the energies that are syncing up with me right now, or what I interpret as energies trying to sync up with me. So this is just meant to be felt, not necessarily understood on a linear basis. And so as we allow ourselves to flow into this new energetic relationship, we might say, with our environment, with our surroundings, as we allow ourselves to fluidly move through and within the surroundings, we begin to feel into the complexity and beautiful simplicity at the same time of our reality. We begin to interact with our reality in a specific way. And this allows us, as I say specific, I'm hearing Pacific and I'm hearing ocean. So it's like this energy that's all around us is like an ocean of energy. And we're fluidly interacting with the aether, with the biofield that's all around us. And as we allow ourselves to move in this symbiotic, in this fluid-like way, we begin to open up to what it is that the universe has to say. Or better spoken, we begin to open to more of what it is that we have to say, that is in a deeper or more pure alignment with our own soul signature, with our own signature and frequency that essentially makes us who we are. Or spoken differently, it makes us more of that which it is that we wish to sync up with. And this is a play on words, for we are never really coming into sync, one might say, with anything. We might merely be sinking into a deeper energetic balance with the font, the signature of our true inner flame, our true inner spark, that which flames or feeds our own inner spark. And each of us have a different resonance from one perspective, from an individual and unique perspective of collective, or collective of perspectives. And we could play with this a bit, for we are really being encouraged right now to find our signature amidst this sea or ocean, the Pacific, amidst the ocean of other signatures. And we can find ourselves when we are not centered, when we do not know what it is that makes us, I'm hearing lights our fire. We can get lost in the flames of the collective. We can get lost in the smorgasbord, one might call it, of other people's directives, of other people's sound. And so we are consistently being invited to consistently tune in to our own sound. What is it that we resonate with? What is it that we listen to? Where are we listening from? What are we listening to? So I'm seeing this as a play on words. Like, what we're tuning into is tuning into us in our environment and our field. And we're really being called to get more into this alignment of, well, heart-centered frequency. When we're centered, there may be a lot of noise going on around us, but we can find our own inner statement. And this is a play on words. I'm hearing mission statement. We begin to speak from that home base frequency, and I'm hearing there's no place like home. So we hone in on the frequency that we wish to transmit, rather than honing in on all of the transmissions and frequencies that are being transmitted at us. We then begin to become the resource that is transmitting the inner frequency of coherence, of, I'm hearing, affection, compassion, appreciation, which goes along with gratitude. And this then tunes out the other frequencies. So this reminds me of a tuning fork. It also reminds me of waves. So something about how waves, this was a message that was coming through in some of the things that I wrote. So I'm trying to, what I was shown is these waves counteract each other. So we have a wave, there's all these waves coming at us from radio frequencies, from signals, from other people's noise. We could call it static. But these waves, we counter those waves by us coming back into attunement with our deeper resonance, our deeper frequency. So when we're in these places of gratitude, when we're in these places of appreciation, we may not be in a place of complete and total balance and harmony at all times, but we can consistently come back to the frequency of appreciation and gratitude to help us hone into our own inner balance and our own inner, what I'm hearing is counterbalance. So we might get pushed off course or pulled off course by everything that's going on around us. Yet the more we consistently come back to our inner sense of who we are and what it is that our intention is, it's harder to pull us off, I'm hearing, the scale. So that's a play on words. It's harder to pull us off of our balance, the scales. It's harder to pull us off of our the frequency or the scale of music that we're composing, creating, and symphonetically speaking and saying through our words and our actions and our thoughts. So if enough of this are doing this, it counters out the other, it cancels it out. It's like what I'm being shown are noise canceling headphones. Like something about these headphones, it cancels out the noise, and it's a little bit like whoever's holding their frequency more consistently, that's the sound that ends up being the long wave that ends up, what I'm hearing is plowing through the other waves. It breaks up the already scattered and discoherent signals that are all around us, and this that have been creating discord and disharmony. So this is the biggest message that's coming through, is there's a lot of discord and disharmony going on in not only the field that we're existing within, this ocean of electricity, this ocean of sound, this ocean of chemicals and air and all of the above. However, the more of us that are creating this unified field of so much, of heartfelt coherence, of intuitive interaction, of connecting in with this ocean, right? I'm hearing whales, like whales harmonizing. We send out this sonar and we begin to stimulate our own inner patterning, and then we break up the patterns of disharmony. So this is the message. So get back into, and I'm playing with words here to kind of also break up the patterns that many of us have learned with language. Part of what I do is my mission or soul purpose is to play with language and dialect. And I always say dialect, dial up, to get out of the habit of having everything fit into a conformity box. Because what many of us are feeling, seeing, sensing, realizing is that we don't want to be held down or held back or labeled or boxed into any type of shape that no longer fits who it is that we are, what it is that we truly wish to talk about. And I'm really being called that some of the things that we think are important, some people are recognizing they don't hold the same magnetism for us. They don't hold the same electrical charge. They don't hold the same electrical spark. And so the more that we can streamline and simplify and get back to the basics, I've said this so many times. I don't know what's going on with my color there, but doesn't matter. The more we are able to do that, the longer our charge becomes. And that's a play on words. So it's a long wave rather than short, chunky, unorganized waves that don't go as far. But also like charge, like power and charging ahead, moving forward, increasing our own inner power. And you guys, this comes from us using our own inner resource and mechanisms of breath, grounding, movement, creativity, coherent thought patterns, acknowledging when we feel frustrated, angry, stressed, and recognizing it and coming back to a place of even maybe gratitude for that realization. For when we don't acknowledge what we're moving through, what we're working towards, what we have faced in the past and how far we've come, these are important steps in the building blocks of what matters. That's a play on words, the building blocks of matter. These are important steps in solidifying our right, so to speak, to be here. So that has to do with our root chakra, stabilizing our root. When we talk about platonic solids, it's the square, it's the triangle, it's the circle, it's all these shapes that stack and build on one another, that then move into the dodecahedron, that move into the icosahedron. And this is all stuff I'm not really very familiar with sacred geometry, but if you look up the platonic solids, for example, they are the building blocks of matter. So then we begin to simplify and yet solidify what's important for us to build on. So we start to feel and focus and get centered around what really matters. And that's even a play on words. That's how we are coming together to create our new reality. That's how we are combining our frequencies in order to stabilize the new. So what I'm seeing are these platonic solids moving around and reshaping into new structures, into new patterns that are actually unique to this new reality. Therefore, they're unique in this experience of this new reality. Therefore, how we experience this new reality is a direct, I'm hearing reflection, but it's reflecting back to us. So recognizing our experience and doing our best, which isn't always necessarily going to be, again, sunshine and rainbows and super easy, but doing our best I'm just hearing to use our inner resources. This will stabilize the outer resources. This will then reflect back to us ways and new ways and creative ways in which to, I'm hearing abundify. So like abundantly and identify abundance, but I'm also hearing PHI, like the golden means, do unto others, the golden rule. And this has to do with resources. So it's like when we recognize that we have everything we need inside of us to feel a certain way, let's say grateful, or to feel appreciation for our family, our bodies, Mother Earth, whatever it might be, our pets, our job, whatever we're feeling appreciation for, that then that creates a shape. It creates a sound. It creates a wave. It creates a thought pattern that ripples out into the field and is then reflected back to us through people, places, and things, synchronicities. And it becomes an exchange. It becomes an interaction between ourselves, our own inner resource, that then ripples out and brings back to us, or magnifies back to us, more of that pattern, if that makes sense. This doesn't mean that if we have something negative, perceived negative going on in our lives, that we're doing something wrong. And I feel like that's a really important topic to kind of just say. It's important to perhaps recognize that we're experiencing something that may be uncomfortable, and asking, where can I be learning from this? How can I feel appreciation for this circumstance so that I can move through it as gracefully as possible? And if we're not moving through it gracefully, if we're feeling wiped out, tired, sad, depressed, really giving ourselves, I talked about this in my previous video, what I'm hearing is cutting the slack, cut ourselves some slack. So when you have this tight line and you're not giving any room to breathe, to be, we're not perfect. Meaning we have an idea that we have to behave in a certain way in order to reap the rewards of higher vibration. But part of the human experience is recognizing the oscillations in the wave so that we can find balance in all of it. It's not necessarily always going to be a high, right? So that's just, I know I just went into 5 different places there, but I do think it's valuable to really recognize that we're not always going to feel capable, from one perspective, of really staying harmonized and balanced all the time. But the more consistently we come back to it, the more consistently we can follow that pattern, the more consistent we are, right? Recognizing our own resource. And then this becomes stabilizes our field a bit, so we're not pulled in all these different directions. So I'm just gonna kind of end on that note, and yeah, cut ourselves some slack. Don't be so tight. Be more fluid. Allow ourselves to breathe. Allow ourselves to stretch a little bit and explore our imagination, and not be so set or rigid in how our reality should be looking towards us, because sometimes our reality offers us certain complexities that then allow us to simplify. Certain things come up that seem complicated, but then when we just take a deep breath and we allow ourselves to unfold into the situation and be shown what it is that we may be missing, feel what it is that we might have been avoiding, have conversations that maybe were uncomfortable to be had, we begin to let go and trust a little bit more in not only in ourselves, but also our fellow brothers and sisters who are also going through many things, as we have this individual experience collectively on planet Earth. In love and light, guys. Namaste.